You know, that is so awesome because guarding yourself from the world's moral filth. I mean, we're talking about TV, we're talking about radio,
music,
we're talking about cell phones, we're talking about computers, we're talking about on the job, off the job, next door, down the street, everywhere. You can corrupt your mind. And so we have to guard against that. And now, you know, when you start to study the Word of God, it becomes in your heart. And it's in your heart will be pricked when you are around the wrong kind of thing. You know, you'll know it. You just know it. And it'll be up to you to make that right decision to stray away from it. Try not to get involved in it where it will penetrate your mind.
What about when you're in a situation where you're somewhere like maybe the workplace or something, and you have to deal with people maybe using profanity and cursing and gossiping and talking evil, bad things, and you can't actually at that moment separate yourself? What do you do?
Well, I excuse myself to go to the bathroom. You can always separate yourself some kind of way. You really and truly can. But it does happen, and I've been in that situation before. And oftentimes when you do address it, the other person gets so mean and retaliatory. But when you go and look at your conduct and code, just about every place you work says no profanity. And so either they'll abide by it. I don't know how far you want to take it. But some people get offended when you tell them, hey, I'm not feeling you guys. I don't want to hear all that. I know.
Yeah, I've been that's why I asked. I've been around people now, and I asked myself, look, you know, I don't want to hear that shit. You know, I don't like that. I don't want to hear profanity. I mean, I can't tell you what to say, but you know, take that somewhere else. I don't want to hear it. You know.
Right.
And I done had both reactions. Some people say okay, some people cuss you out.
Well, I think you can always go get yourself a soda, some potato chips, or go to the bathroom. Or go and do something in your locker, you know, reorganize it. There's always something that you can do to separate yourself from that.
But you know, that's how tricky Satan is, because I've been in that position a couple of times, and it made me so mad I almost started cussing myself.
It will rub off.
I mean, you know, when you talk to them, when you ask them, then they act a fool. You know, Satan makes you want to act fool with them. You know,
that's what it is.
What I do, I have people in my neighborhood, like you said, people use that profanity, and we tell them, like I said, I can't stop you, but I can move myself. So when I hear them in front of my house, I go in my living room, cut my gospel music on, as loud as that boom, 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 and start praising the Lord. For you know it, there's no one in front of my house.
That's right.
They either be quiet, either join, or leave.
That's right.
You know, I'm going to have it like Burger King. I'm going to do it my way, which is God's way. You either with me or you're against me. You know, so I avoid myself from the vulgar or the profanity or whatever. Like you said, I can't stop you, but I can move me because I don't have to be around. I don't have to be around.
When I get in situations like that, I usually have to be right back. And I'll be gone.
And then you find people that do respect you, and they say, oh, I'm sorry, every other word, I'm sorry, and then eventually it's going to prick them. You know, your presence sometimes
when
is necessary.
When they see you,
and
they know.
Oh, here comes so-and-so, and they'll calm that down. And you'll hear the vocabulary start to change. You know, because you can stand and have a boldness in it, too. Not be in the conversation and stand and have a boldness when someone says something so offensive, the look that you give them, something straight from God, oh, they won't do it around you no more. And they start apologizing. You know, and they bow.
Since I've come to the Lord, I've had people that I used to associate with, not necessarily my friends, but you know, associated because we may be doing the same thing. And you know, since I've changed, and I told him, I said, well, you know, I don't want to hear all that, all that cursing and that, you know, my bad stuff. I don't want to hear it. And some of them have stopped coming around me altogether. You know what I'm saying? I'll see them in the way, but they don't come around me. You know, and some that do still cross my path, they'll start off with that, and I said, wait a minute, I told you, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, you know, and then they'll try their best. But it's difficult for them because that's the way they are.
That's the way they live.
You know, and some people, you know, they're limited education. You know, their academic skills are very low, and basically, because you know they say profanity is the language of the ignorant anyway. So, and that's true because a lot of people who can't have a comprehension of words of how to speak substituted with profanity. Every word is, you know, this, that, so and so.
I used to think that too, Brother Christian, but I worked around, I'm telling you, I've been into the workplace, and people who I never thought or expected to cuss. Because I'm talking about educated people. And it's a culture for some folks.
Right, right.
And I noticed that a lot of people from down south, it's cultural.
Okay.
You know, especially when they get around other folks from down south. Now, I'm not talking about Little Rock, Arkansas, because the folks in Little Rock, Arkansas are from the south, but they don't do it like that. But I'm talking about Mississippi and other areas.
Yeah.
And when they get together, that's like a, you know,
right.
You would never knew that they cuss until they get around their folks.
Okay.
Just bad mouth, you know, and then it's not a black thing. It's not just a black thing. It's, I mean, I know some white folks that can cuss worse than anybody I know.
Okay.
And when you get around it, it will rub off. That's why you sometimes got to separate yourself from it.
That's right.
You know, they might say 10 and you think it ain't bad because you said 1. You see what I'm saying? Oh, I'm not as bad as them. You do that comparison thing. Now,
either way, it come out your mouth.
It come out your mouth. That's it. What God said, what goes in is not that, it's what comes out. And it shocked you too. I've seen some beautiful women. Just gorgeous. You wouldn't believe they mouth. And it makes them so ugly.
Right.
It does. It takes away.
It takes away.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, I experienced that too with the young lady. She was so beautiful, and I just told her, I cannot believe how much you cuss. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. She of course got mad. She tried to retaliate, but God kept me buried, you know, away from her blocks, her arrows.
They want to defend that.
Yeah.
And it's hard to defend. How can you defend that? I mean, because some of the things that's coming out your mouth are, I don't know what you say, blasphemous, but there's certainly insults to God, I think, when you use His name in vain and all these other kind of words, you know.
And it was not professional in the workplace.
Right.
Horrible. You kids, can you tell me something about you guys, what you find in school and the influences some of the kids may have on you?
On the playground they cuss, and when they talk to the teacher,
I mean, I agree.
They talk back to the teacher and they cuss at the teacher.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes we have lots of problems that waste like an hour of class time. Like a time where they told a girl who had her phone and it wasn't even on, and they just told on her, and then they started talking about it, and she got really irritated. And they also call kids names and always hate on them and say you ugly and stuff like that. I also heard some 6th graders cussing all the time.
6th graders?
Yeah.
They come here cussing.
Yeah, 6th graders like 11 or 12.
So you think they probably cuss at home? That's why they cuss at school?
Mama and them
Probably.
cussing.
Huh? No?
Mama and
You think they do it at school?
I think they do it at school. They don't do it at home so they won't get in trouble.
So you think that the parents might be cussing at home for them to learn it? You think so? That's something to think about.
That's their homework.
At our school, we got this peace path that solves problems, so they won't keep going on and on. So they just solve it and leave it alone.
It's a what now?
A peace path.
Oh?
Yes. Peace path.
So they solve and you just leave it alone.
Yeah, like solve problems.
So
you
what
just
can keep
forget
on
So
it.
you're
going
saying
on?
some of these kids can get to acting up in class and hold you up for an hour and you don't get your education, huh?
Last time,
That's a shame.
we were going to revise something about 2 great men, Frederick Douglass and Martin Luther King, but we spent an entire hour and some more minutes because of our stupid phone and cheddar boxes.
Okay, well, I'm glad your dad knows now. That's good.
Today in class we didn't learn nothing because we had to write wrongs.
You had to write what?
We had to write wrongs.
What's that?
We had to write the rules.
It's
Why?
like when you write something over and over again.
I understand. But what caused you guys have to write the lines?
Because
Was it one student?
yeah,
Oh, that's horrible.
because one student said the other student was looking at him, and then our teacher gave us some wrongs.
Wow. Sounds like